right. Welcome to another episode of Side Note, the podcast dedicated to underground electronic dance music and all things related. Today it is my great pleasure to bring to you mistress of the underground, Mama J.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Actually, so audience should know, I saw you play last week at a party called Fallen Angel, all female techno lineup. Really, really legit. So thank you for rocking it that night.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
I think we were talking about it before we started. Like, one of the things that kind of strikes me about kind of the hard techno scene of today is how closely it resembles like trance from like when I was coming up. It seems like we probably came up like around the same time,
Sure,
like
yeah.
2000s through now. And yeah, it's like, oh, we've come full circle, like where like the BPMs have gotten like steadily faster. And like they're blowing my face away with BPMs and like really like melodic synths again, which I'm cool.
At least in my techno sets, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which was great.
Sure.
But I mean, I was looking through your stuff. It looks like you don't just play techno. You're like, a little bit of a jack of all trades.
That's kind of new to me. I kind of, what do they say? I went over to the dark side because I'm known for my house music. I'm really, really popular with my house music. Because I throw events too and stuff,
right.
And I'm pretty bubbly for the most part.
Yeah.
But
in terms of your sound,
I like to have fun and dance, and but there's a very serious musicianship side to me that drew me to techno and those melodic ambient synths and sounds that you're hearing. I'm really like particular, even with my house music. I really am particular about the song selection and song choices that I use. With techno, it's just such an honor because they're kind of snobby, like, with their DJs too. So it was really such an honor to be asked to come and join, and they're really paying attention to me and what I'm doing, because it wasn't what I set out to do. I was just like, this is kind of fun. And I've just gotten such a great response. I mean, I played in Vegas, like everybody's kind of like been really loving my techno, which is great because I love to mix more than anything else. And with techno, you kind of got to pay attention to sounds a little bit more and mix it a little bit better. And it's a little bit more intricate, I think, as a DJ, as an engineer, as a professional. It's a lot more fun for me because I like that seriousness of it.
Yeah.
I really do. And they're paying attention, you know what I mean? House music, they're not paying attention as much.
It's like vibe. You're just kind of grooving from track to track. But with techno, like people are really out for like the contiguous journey, right?
Yeah.
They want to like see how it all comes together.
Up for them. And if you do, it'll make it kind of like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah, they want the journey, and they're like very, I mean, guilty as charged, like as like a, like underground music nerd. I often go to parties and just sort of like stand with like stroking my chin, like, oh, it was good mix. Oh, it was bad mix. Like, I feel like it's like, that's definitely not like a good habit to have. And like now there's like memes like all over the internet of like, basically like anytime, like a bedroom DJ is out there, like, oh, that was like not a good mix. What they're really saying is like, I wish I was playing up there.
100%. You don't typically hear stuff like that from professionals. Like I definitely won't sit there and critique somebody else's set. I'll try to keep it to myself, but that's also why when I throw events, I try to have open decks and hint, you know what I mean? Hey, come over to my open decks. And
oh, really?
I've heard people like, talk bad about others, but I'll yell at them and be like, why don't you show them then?
Yeah.
Where they're messing up, be like, respectfully, of course, everything is approached. I'm pretty respected, so people listen. So if something's off or something, I'll tell them, respectfully and hey, if you just did this,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Real quick, like, and have fun with it. Like, don't make people feel bad, but we have every opportunity to reach out and be like, hey, like I didn't vibe with that, but somebody else might have,
right.
You know what I mean? Or if you can actually help somebody and be like, hey, it's not the business, like try this song or do this or tell them. And if you say it the right way, it's received a lot of times.
100%.
I promise you that. Like people don't do it because they think that they're going to get mad but honestly, it's so much more disrespectful to sit on the sidelines and judge others.
100%. And like, I feel like the times that I do it, it's sort of like,
I'm sorry.
It's just like, you're not even, I mean, I'm not even thinking of it. It's just like an intellectual exercise because I love the music so much. Right. And it's just like, I've spent so much of my life, like sitting in dark rooms, like listening and like,
it.
you know, loving, and that it's hard to not, you know, it's like watching, it's like being a movie critic where you've just seen so many, it's hard not to.
It could also be disrespectful in that sense.
But
too.
yeah,
like,
you
know, they come up there when I really put my heart and soul and love and live and breathe this, and somebody's just like, hey, I can just push a button, and you know, it's not that simple, guys.
100%,
you know,
100%.
it's not.
But so, you know, I was doing my research on you, and like, I mean, it looks like you're playing like multiple gigs, like pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you probably know Theo.
Oh yeah, he's played for Taco. He's
so I talked to Theo on the show maybe like a month and a half ago, and you know, I remember coming up with him where he was like on every sort of flyer, and like looking, I feel like you're almost kind of like in that same vein, you know, like a true like underground rave DJ who plays like week after week after week, to where like I'm sure there's going to be a generation like with Theo, you know, like I've been to parties that he's played at for over like 20 years, and having him on was like, holy shit, like
it was,
you know, and I feel like for you, like there's a whole generation coming up now that, you know, will be like brought up on Mama J parties at raves, and they're going to be like, holy shit, like I used to go to, you know, Mama J's party here and there.
I feel that.
So thank you for, you know, like keeping the scene going.
Thank you.
But I guess, you know, on that, you know, as I asked, you know, most of the guests who come on here, like, how did your rave journey start? And like, what was the progression from experiencing the music for the first time and then getting to like, oh, I need to actually play this shit for people?
Oh, wow. Such a journey. Well, high school, actually, like, you know, I kicked it with the ravers and the breakers. Like, I really loved their energy and their attitudes too. It wasn't just about music. For me, underground isn't just music. It's totally a community vibe. It's by definition, it means against the regime. It's certain principles that I really fell in love with too. And then, you know, just the heartbeat, you know, the rhythms, and the way they would interact with each other. Like, so high school for me, I love the way that they dressed. I never dressed like that. Like, it was so funny. You would never peg me as a raver, like, honestly, like, for the most part. Like, I always was my own style. Like, I was always a diva. Like,
and we're talking like probably like in high school, early aughts.
Yeah, this was, I graduated in 2000. So this was right, like, rave culture. Like, they wore the flare pants.
Right, like the Jenko pants and like the candy.
The pacifiers. And
I've been there.
Yep, Fox Theater, Pomona for sure.
Shout out to the Fox Theater Pomona. We were talking before we started shooting. My first rave ever was at the Fox Theater.
Same.
In Pomona.
Same, mine too. And then, you know, we were talking about drugs a little bit earlier too, and that's why it got shut down. You know, a girl OD'd in the alleyway where we had Space Brains now.
Shit, I didn't know about that.
You know, that's why we weren't allowed to have raves anymore, you know, and you know, all bullshit aside, shout out to Space Taco and Space Brains. They really brought that community back to Pomona.
Oh, so it had kind of dried up in Pomona?
Done. No, there was nothing ever again in Pomona, ever.
Wow.
I honestly ran a lot of clubs in that area, and I argued against the city's attorneys. I've really been a part of Pomona, so I know what was there, and it never even crossed my mind to start bringing house music back and ravers and all that. I looked at them like they were crazy when they wanted to start Space Taco and do that. Like, there's a bunch of cholos in Pomona dancing in hip hop, or our punk rock scene was really prominent, you know.
Right.
But never, not house music.
Well, now all the cholos are ravers too.
It was beautiful.
Right?
Even back then, the cholos were ravers too. Yeah. So I had forgotten that was actually the bridge that connects people. To be honest, house music is a whole nother ballgame when it comes to music and people and how it resonates with people. And people today don't even remember, like, shout out to the Baker Boys. They don't remember the Baker Boys, Power 106. And, you know, in the 90s, they played house music, like not just hip hop. They played house music. I remember being at a junior high school dancing to house music, like with my cholo friends, like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, you know, they loved it. So I love that it brought all cultures together, and Asians too. Like, I went to elementary school in Hacienda Heights. my kid is half Asian, like he's beautiful, and it just brought everybody together. You can't name one race of people that doesn't like house music.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's that's one of the things about electronic music, right? Like, it's not very lyric heavy. You can be from anywhere and enjoy it. Like, it's not about the words, it's about the vibes and the feelings. And that's part of what drew me to it. Like, from the beginning, it's like anyone like can enjoy this. Like, I mean, that's why DJs are so popular. That's why they can tour the globe, and no matter where they go, like, they have an audience that like, loves them.
Yeah. You know, that's probably why we don't have microphones either. Like, we could just, at my parties, we don't really have like hype men or microphones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or,
That's not underground. That's not like real like electronic music. Like,
Right.
that's like a EDM thing of today, or, you know, like that's showbiz. That's not like,
Yeah, we don't have
that's not
mics. We don't
rave.
allow
Yeah.
it. I've literally unplugged mics. Like,
yeah, like,
let's give him a try. You know what I'm saying? All right. But then they just, it's cool if you want to say one thing, but that's just not our focus.
yeah, like every time I see some DJ like scream like throw your motherfucking hands in the air, like it
do
upsets
that.
me. But that's also judgment. Once again.
No, it's not. It's a real thing. It really makes people feel some type of way. Like, you know, or I remember like being on my first like live stream and my fans seeing it. Cause I don't really do that either, but for friends, like right now, you're my friend, like it's cool. It's not like I'm above anything. I just, you know, I have certain principles, and it's gotta be like the right thing. If I'm going to come out and, you know, do a mix or, you know, talk to somebody,
Right.
you know, it's gotta be the right fit. It's gotta be, in line with, you know, my principles and where I'm headed with my career. But I remember my fans seeing my first like live stream, and they're saying, "Why is she talking over your set?" And it's supposed to. She's cute. She's bubbly. They're saying, you know, jokes and stuff like that, and that's the whole point of their show, you know. But my fans didn't understand it. So like, it was really funny. Like, and I just had to explain it to them. You know, this is just a little bit more commercial, you know, and we can't just stay underground. That's not what underground means. It's just because I go on TV or talk to you or anything like that. That's not, my principles and values hold true anywhere I'm at.
Right, right. So I guess taking it back to like your early days in Pomona, like what were the musical influences at the time, like when you were coming up?
Man, honestly, like, for house, of course, Doc Martin was a big influence. Irene, DJ
Of course,
Irene,
yep.
of course. But honestly, I like all music. So I started writing music, and I've been on stage since I was like 2 years old. Like, I got my like first drum machine when I was like 5. Like, I had a Casio keyboard. I had a karaoke machine that did like, it had the 2 tape decks, and I could record like 5-part harmonies just by overdubbing, you know, the decks, and I'd mic up my Casio.
Whoa, okay.
I was crazy. When I was little, I wasn't really outgoing, surprisingly. I was actually really, really quiet. My grandmother like was always pretty attentive, and she was a photographer, so I grew up in front of a camera. But still, when I would go to school, I would always sit by myself, and I was always writing. So I've been writing music my whole life.
Got it.
So lyrics, melodies, everything, singing, all of it. Just, I would love music, all of it.
Right.
So punk rock and metal was like kind of my first claim to fame. Like when I first really started managing and getting into music, and right out of high school, I really fell in love with R&B music. I love to sing. So I don't know. I was a huge Mariah Carey fan.
Okay.
Growing up, I felt like nobody could sing like her. Mariah and Whitney Houston, of course. Like, I was like, those voices just made me cry. But Mariah especially, because she was a lyricist. And if you actually look at her lyrics back in the day, like I used to have to, we didn't have Google. I used to have to use the dictionary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Google like was later.
Yeah, Google was later. I was like, wait a minute, I couldn't Google. I would look it up, and she would use big words in her writing. Like, I learned what the word nonchalant meant from a Mariah Bone Thugs song. Like, for real. It's like, I'm like, what the fuck is she saying? But like, you know, I thought that was amazing. And the fact that she owned all her songs. And I felt like, you know, artists were kind of missing the boat in that area. I had done a lot of homework, even in high school. Like, my senior thesis was on how the white man stole the blues. Like, and I thought that was pretty sad how we can get taken advantage of, even with races and different cultures too, but also just being ignorant in general as artists. Like, I felt it was important for me to go to school and, you know, learn as much as I can. So right out of high school, I took my engineering and everything, and I started studying engineering at Citrus College, like right out of high school.
Okay. And then, but so like, when did you start making the move into like, oh, I'm going to play shows, or like, I'm going to learn how to DJ?
So
what did that process
that
look
took
like?
a long time, actually. I had been throwing shows forever. I started managing and producing and writing for other people.
So you were already kind of in the music
like I was
industry.
thrown into Hollywood. So once I started high school, once I finished high school, once I started college, my first semester there, I got a job at Westlake Audio.
Okay.
So I'm 17 years old, like at the #1 studio in the United States. Like I was literally working for all the celebrities I had like crushes on and all that the next year. Like I had posters on my wall of all these people like that I was working for. I didn't think I'd get the job. Like I just wanted to see what a real studio looked like. And because of that, it allowed me to be extremely connected very quickly. So
all the artists coming in and out. Yeah.
I had Aaliyah in one room. I had Justin Timberlake in another.
Wow.
I had like you name it. Like I was around them. So and that's me as a teenager. So I don't know. Then I took a step back. You know, do I really want to be the artist? I started seeing the way that they act and the drug use, and that they're not. You know, they're they're humans. You know what I'm saying?
This is not rave per se, but give us the juice on some of the like big time celebs that you hung out with or you saw. I mean, you don't have to name names. Like,
I wouldn't do that to
What
them,
is some of like the behavior?
It definitely
that you saw?
redirected my entire focus and led me to the rave scene, to be honest. But I was so disappointed. I didn't realize that they're human beings. You know what I'm saying? When you're young, you idolize these people. And as an artist too myself, I really think about that, people looking up to me and things like that. So it took my time. So they would use drugs. They would, sleep with people in front of me.
Like in the studio?
Oh yeah, man. I could tell you stories.
Whoa.
Like, oh my God. I've had people kicked out for never mind. I can't go there. All kinds of stories, shocking stories that, I'm sure you've heard, like conspiracy theories in Hollywood, right? They're all true. Like all of them to times 10, So that scared the shit out of me, which allowed me to fly under the radar a little bit, make my connections, try not to get caught up or lost in the sauce, and slowly just build my own way, which led me to the house scene and then coming to Pomona and vibing with my friends. Sequan, who started Space Taco, we had went to high school together, so we had already known each other like 20 years. I was already building stages and, buying out venues and doing all that with all my other genres.
Wow.
Pop, punk rock, you name it.
So you're promoting shows across different musical genres.
Yeah, hip hop, you name it.
Okay.
When last time I performed at Avalon, I actually just wrote a bunch of hip hop songs and sang them just because they wouldn't really put hip hop on. And I was managing a hip hop artist and they wanted me to perform, so I just kind of flipped it. Yeah, so I don't know, I like all kinds of music. I didn't want to be the spotlight necessarily. I really enjoy building people up. I can watch somebody else shine and I know what to tell them so that they feel good. And, I don't know, I've always been like that. I've always just wanted to see others shine. I knew it wasn't my time, so.
All right, so you're basically kind of a jack of all trades in music. You're in punk, you're in hip hop, you're in rave. I guess again, sorry to keep circling back to it, but I guess where's
out
the
of that,
point?
Experience with the commercial scene and all that, it really led me to the underground.
Okay.
And what their principles were and kind of back to my roots, back to high school.
Kind of, so it's like the plur that really, okay.
Honestly, music is, you can find beauty in all genres of music. At least that's what I learned because as an engineer, you learn to hear sounds and just in general, so that's what led me to DJing too. It's just sound,
right.
Let me see that toy. Let me play with it. Let me hear what it can do, and the fact that I do like all these genres, it was fun for me to, kind of find my niche with house and allow myself to express something, also with my community and bridge that gap. You know what I mean? There's not too many cultures where it's that beautiful, to be honest.
No. I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of musical communities, but I mean, obviously I'm biased. You know, for me, there is something about like electronic music and rave that like really brings people together. I mean, I guess if you look at the way at where it started though, right? Like it started in like Black and queer communities as a way for people to like have fun and get together. And I think that like spirit, you know, like carries through, you know, like less so kind of main stage EDM or whatever, but like definitely like in rave.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I really protect my events. You know what I'm saying? I could definitely do bigger ones or other clubs or whatever, but people don't understand. It's about a vibe. Like we protect that at all costs. I don't care. Like there's rules, you know, within this community that stand with and align with what my principles are.
Right.
And I can't say that about a lot of other musical genres. I really can't. I've really infiltrated them all. And I went right back to my roots and went back with the plur vibe and the underground principles. Of course, there's going to be, you know, drama and blah, blah. But at the root of it all, if our core is healthy and we care about each other, then that's supposed to like kind of resonate with the rest of the group. And hopefully as we grow, we grow stronger and we can still hold that. And that's what I've seen. That's a great point because you see that in our communities. And if you've been to my shows or my events, like you'll feel it. Like, especially during COVID, you know, I was shamed by a lot too. This is where me and Space Taco kind of fell off actually. But at the same time, there's a whole nother, you know, community out there that I got letters daily talking about you saved my life. You know, they were going to kill themselves. Like a lot of people are going to kill themselves if they don't hang out with their friends, if they don't interact with people. And I had a lot of deaths this year
Oh my God.
within our communities. So that's what kind of prompted me initially to just keep doing what I'm doing and try to promote health. You know, for me, I've dabbled in drugs. I've tried stuff, you know what I mean, here and there, just so that I could figure out the experience or what are my friends doing, you know. And I always waited for the right time and place, and kind of like the first time I did acid, I was in my 30s, and it was with my best friends, and it was in Big Sur. And we had a stage with a live violinist and house music.
Sounds pretty legit.
Shout out to Showerback. Thank you. He tricked me, by the way. He told me we were going to Big Bear. And
Big Sur, Big Bear, definitely difference.
So Showerback actually is a big influence on me too. He's an artist, and I actually managed him for a long time. But he brought me into a lot more of the house music scene of today, you know, because I had to get back into it and understand it. And I'm just, you know, and he just really blew my mind and taught me a lot about drugs, honestly, like, and what it is and what they do. He's 2 years sober now too. Like, we don't drink, we don't use drugs or anything like that, but it was an experience. And you definitely need to understand the culture that you're with, you know, and why people use drugs or why they do this or what it will do to you. I didn't want to be afraid anymore, you know. I was always scared of drugs. I was so scared. Like, I kind of a prude too. Like, I would judge people a little, and like, you can't.
That's interesting to hear from somebody who's like weird, a rave right?
DJ. I know, my God. But if you actually talk to a lot of the people that come to my parties, they'll be like, oh no, Mama J, she's going to give you a lecture. It's true. I will lecture people at my parties. Even though I have a party culture, I really expect people to be responsible. And that's all I'm saying. So if you're getting a lecture from me, you've probably had a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, you got to, people need to control their party.
That's all.
But that's another parallel that I would draw, you know, between you and Theo, where you're both sort of like icons in this, like, you know, in the rave scene, like underground, which is so like heavily associated with like getting fucked up. But I think both of you share that. We're like, oh, actually, you know, like we, you know, done it here and there, but maybe like a little later in life. Which is surprising because I feel like, you know, when I talk to club DJs, like electronic club DJs, different story.
You know, and I can only say this without trying to be insulting. There's an artistry to this, like a real deep connection to music. That's the drug, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to disparage.
Y'all don't understand. There's some real like intense feelings going on with that music when you really feel it. And
I definitely don't want to like, disparage the club people, because I think the artistry there is, can be equally as strong, but it is like kind of an interesting difference there.
It's just, there's different reasons for why people do it. Not to say that they're not great artists or this or that, but the vibe or the feel or the reason why they do it is just different. They vibe off of the audience. They vibe off the drug. They like to party. They like to hype them up. There's no right or wrong. Like to each his own, but for me, it's like an emotion. It's a part of me. It's breathing. If you weren't there, I'd still feel that. You feel me? Like, and without it, it's like you're not eating. It's like not having air.
So in terms of like the stuff you're doing, like, do you derive more satisfaction from like throwing the parties or playing the parties, or is it both that like?
It's funny. Like, I don't know. DJing's awesome. Like, honestly, it's so fun. I never thought it'd be this fun, to be honest, because I've always been in a booth. Like if I'm mixing or something, it's always been in a studio before. So, yeah, man, vibing with the people, picking the songs, surprising them, you know what I mean? Mixing it up, like, so fun. I don't know why I like business so much though. Like
you like the business part of it?
I do. I'm a weirdo. Like I'm the only one that I know of that just like, hell yeah, music entertainment. But like nobody likes the business side of things. I really enjoy it. I really like being able to take something and mold it and watch it grow.
You got that entrepreneurial like gene. Yeah. There's a lot of like, I know like a lot of people like that. It's just like they enjoy like the hustle of it.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've literally never put a set together because I'm always running shit. So
okay. So you don't do like any pre-programming. Okay.
Nah, I barely know what's on my USB when I get up there because I'm always downloading. I swear, everybody knows this about me though. Like, and then when I first started DJing too, like I would always lose my USBs. I would literally look around the room and be like, "Hey, yo, let me use your USB. What folder you not using?"
Just like randomly, pull music from someone else's drive.
Yeah,
wow.
Like all my homies know that. Like I would grab anybody's. Like shout out to Bobby from Polar Nights. I took his. Surfmeister. I took his. Benny Bass. I'm sure I took his.
Like I don't even get to play out that much, but I am so anal about like my collection and like I'm only gonna play like what I bought and vetted.
So funny. That's everyone though. Like I didn't realize that wasn't a thing. Like everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. It's music, bro. Yeah. Like I can't fuck it up. Like at least in my head, because I had been performing for so long, like the nerves never hit for me for DJing. And I've been running, parties and events so long that never, I don't care what people think or say or, you know what I mean? Like, so I just get up there and it's just me and the music. And honestly, I love hearing new shit. So I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, this is tight.
Oh, yeah,
like,
just
you know
kidding,
what I mean? Like, or if it's not, okay, we got to move that on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
next.
Mix it. You know what I'm saying? Try to make it better. Like, for me, that's the fun part, actually. And it's not to impress other people. It's to impress myself, honestly, because if I'm dancing, I know they're going to dance, Like, I have already, like, grown up, like, wanting to dance and have fun with my girls and dance on the dance floor. So I know that, like, if I'm not moving, they're probably not going to move. So I better get on it, like. And if I'm having fun, they're going to have fun, like, no matter what.
100%. I mean, like, I think, yeah, like that's one of your main jobs as a DJ, right? Yes. Is to like have fun and like let that vibe flow through you.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, you mentioned kind of the rift with Space Taco. Like, do you want to elaborate on that? I mean, we don't have to.
No, we haven't really talked much since, but, I love them. I'm proud of their success. I think that it's incredible what they've done in Pomona and in my communities there. Like, I'm baffled at what they were able to do. And shoot, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't start somewhere with them, you know what I mean, on this side and learning a little bit more and growing and building with them. And, the whole thing with COVID, you can't blame nobody on either side.
Well, I guess what's the context there? So
they couldn't do anything during COVID. Okay. And, I'm still doing me,
you were still
and
doing
I was still
stuff.
Repping Taco, obviously. That's my background for the most part. And that hurt me, and it was just kind of like, I'm going to go strong on the other side then, I really need you to understand why I'm doing this. And there just wasn't an understanding.
Right. Well, I guess, yeah. So no judge, but like talk to me about like, what it was like throwing parties during COVID and kind of what did that whole scene look like? Because I mean, certainly, like I feel like I'd heard of stuff going down, but I was never like cool enough to get the invite. I mean, I might have shown up, to be honest. But yeah, like where were you guys throwing stuff? Like, what was the planning like? What was the scene like? Would love to hear
I'm
more.
in downtown Los Angeles.
Okay.
This is the prime. This is where everything underground is. So I live there. I manage. I'm the general leasing manager for about 6 buildings on Spring Street.
Okay.
I manage all the retail you see on Spring Street. Like
You have your hands in everything.
I did when I go in, I go in. You know what I mean? I just I'm a control freak. I think I figured out. Like, not only do I got to move there, I got to run the whole block. I don't know.
Right.
I've always been like that, though. Like, even
I feel like your
Pomona
DJ
too,
name like captures that too. You know, like
that was
like somebody named Mama J is definitely has her hands in like a lot of different enterprises.
I'm definitely mom. I'm mama to everybody. Like, that name came from, my underground name. Just even before DJing,
Right.
I would help people a lot. Like, I'd see, drunk girls throwing up. Like, I'd get text messages from their boyfriends the next day. Like, thank you for helping my girlfriend. Like,
I definitely get mama vibes from
it's
you.
mom,
Like,
I hug people, help them out. Like, with Space Taco and all of them, it broke my heart because I really love them. Like, you know what I mean? They were my everything. Like, just like anybody is in my life right now. I'd do anything for them. And, sometimes I'm harsh, when it comes to that love. I'm very direct. And I don't beat around the bush for nothing. So I'm not the type of friend that's going to sit there and let you use drugs or let you do this or do that. I will say something or I'll exit, and that doesn't mean that I hate you. That doesn't mean anything like that. I wish you well, but we just have a difference of opinion. And I really pride myself. Somebody called me a proud woman the other day. I am a proud woman when it comes to certain things and kind of stubborn, Do I regret some things? Yeah. I wish that I could just let things slide. But because people look up to me and because, I'm so prominent in my communities, like even with my buildings too, I'm above and below.
Right.
Underground and above, people look up to me. So that was important to me. I remember being younger, like looking at these stars, like they have all this power and now like, I don't know.
Right.
I wanted to do something different.
But so I guess, back to like kind of the parties during
So COVID, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's the scene like? Just like, give us the lowdown here.
So I've always been underground. Every party I've ever thrown was underground. So even before COVID, that was my thing. I had already been, they call me the queen of the underground, mostly because I have relationships with venues. And that's like the number one thing that people don't understand. Like, you got to understand the area. There's a lot of gangs.
Right.
Like, you got to understand.
You have to like know the lay of the land in terms of like,
you better watch
turf.
out.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. There's every kind of culture. Each one of them have their own gang. And then on top of that, it's an underground culture, right? So you have to know who you're renting from, what venue, what area. You got to vet everybody. You got to keep it. You got to understand the police and how to deal with them. You got to understand the law. You're responsible for a lot of people, which is why I'm sober, of course. Like, I don't want that on my hands. Like, and I have to deal with police a lot too. So like, we ain't cool, but like, I've learned a technique and a strategy on how to deal with them over time, right?
Okay. And was this strategy just like kind of for everything, or that for COVID, like specific parties?
This was before COVID.
Okay,
so the reason why I'm so successful even during COVID is because I already had the game down. I already had the relationships with the venues and the owners, and not that I could see things coming this way, but honestly, like, against the regime is what the definition of underground means.
Right. So like, I guess when you're throwing shit during COVID, was it basically the same as just throwing something during, or what, like, were there additional challenges that you had to deal with?
Because of COVID, what it did was it put a light on the underground, which was not good.
Right. Cause like I do remember like seeing like
it was on the
newspaper
news,
articles.
Like regularly. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like, oh, raves are
half of my venues got shut down.
Okay.
The other thing is too, like, not to diss anybody that started throwing parties during COVID. Good for you. I'm all for entrepreneurship. At the same time, they didn't understand the rules and the responsibility that goes with it. So I saw people OD a lot more than usual, and just regular random people throwing parties left and right when they don't know how. So, they were creating a lot of heat, and that's what made the cops all interested in all of our stuff too. Like, it was really bad. I was kind of...
So there was like a lot of this going on.
Oh man.
Okay.
It was bad. We were getting raided every week.
So every party you threw, like they would like
not
come
me.
down?
So like it's everybody else, to be honest. I'll tell you, I did get raided one time. But it was weird because they had like this task force that was specific to us. I mean, guns drawn, 20 cop cars. Like,
wait, a LAPD task force for illegal COVID raves?
I believe that there was there's a branch of the FBI or something actually sent down to do that, and they had a specific task force assigned. It was about a month or two where they were specifically just coming in and targeting all of us before COVID. They wouldn't come in. You can't come into a private residence like that.
Right.
You can't do that. There's proper protocol. The police all know that. We go through the song and dance. They leave. You know what I mean? And we turn it down or whatever they want. You know what I mean? Whatever the problem is. We didn't have cops coming before, honestly. Like, the way you get the cops called is by being extremely irresponsible and getting your name known. I had never had cops come to my parties ever before COVID.
So in the past, like before COVID, like what kind of shit would they show up for? Like noise
complaint.
Okay.
That's it. Really, honestly, that's the only time. And that's only happened to me like a couple times, and we just turn it down. I have a sound meter. I show them like, yeah, look here. With other people, you know, they have haters and stuff and they'll call or whatever. But I never experienced that, to be honest. Like, there wasn't that, you know. We all had an understanding in the underground, and we all supported each other, to be honest. No calling to the cops, none of that shady stuff till like now. Like, honestly, COVID put all that on there. Everybody just started throwing parties. Right. And when I got busted that one time, well, we didn't really get busted either. I'm again, my parties they know that I'm not, you know, the typical type of party. So my people are somewhat sober. And there aren't drug paraphernalia everywhere. And so they searched us all 3 times and never found anything. And nobody got a ticket. They searched
everyone in the party, or they searched the organizers? I had like
200 people in a line.
They searched 200 people in a line?
Absolutely. One by one, patted them down at least twice. Because a lot of the people in the underground, again, like they're not as safe.
And what are they like? So they're coming after you. They're saying, oh, you're violating the city ordinance to be at home.
To be honest, that's what they're really saying. But what they're really looking for is guns and drugs.
Okay.
And other shit that the underground.
So they're just using that as an excuse to like.
Because I would have at least gotten a ticket by now, to be honest. And they know my parties. They don't have none of that.
Okay, so like when cops show up, like they know you, like oh that's Mama J, like.
Nah, well, one time I got pretty rolled and guns drawn. But they really want the owner of the buildings. They really want they don't want me. They never want me. They want whoever's behind me for the most part. But yeah, I had cops actually like warn me, hey, don't hang out with him. They like me for some weird reason. They like to communicate with me. I'm pretty chill. They also know my parties are very different than the rest of the rave community. I really watch my people. I really went a hard direction on the sobriety tip. Like, so we don't get into trouble like that. And, you know, we do have a reputation like that. I have live artists come and paint at every single one of my parties. I have vendors, and I don't charge them vending fees. They sell their art and their jewelry. They don't have any other opportunities right now. Like,
right.
During COVID it was so bad. Like, so of course I'm going to give them that opportunity. And of course I'm going to watch everything a little bit harder because I don't want to ruin that opportunity. And I have like fire dancers that come. I mean, I throw outdoor events still. You know, during COVID, we would just pull up in the middle,
right,
and do it outdoors. But a lot of the times, you can just talk to them. But if you're messed up with the wrong people or this or that, they're gonna get you.
Got it. So, guys, in terms of like, you know, you're like doing your internal kind of pros and cons of whether or not you should throw the party, right? Like, so you're thinking people need this, the vendors need the opportunity,
yes.
The DJs haven't been out, like. People who have attended the party, they've been locked down. Like, so that's kind of your, that's like your mission, I guess, right?
Yeah. And also health, like, your immune system works. I have an autoimmune disorder. I tested my own health on purpose. I was in and out of hospitals my entire life, every single year till COVID. And I really just unplugged my TVs and I was like, I'm on diet and exercise. And I drink 100 ounces of water a day. I dance every night, like I'm with my friends still. Of course, I wash my hands and I try to, you know, watch what I eat. Like, but honestly, a lot of my health condition was in my head. And it was mental stress and me believing I was sick. And so the more that I believed it and the more I hid myself in, the sicker I got. So it was weird that I actually chose to do that with my own health. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy, but it worked.
Right.
I haven't been sick at all. And I'm around tons of people. I take ginger all the time, turmeric, lemon cayenne. You know, I do all the health stuff. I take neem, supplements. I just went hardcore in the other way. But mindset, I meditate constantly. I'm always, just trying to improve on my own mental state and be at peace no matter where I'm at and what I'm dealt with.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is something to be said for, obviously I believe like, the virus is real and people have died, et cetera.
Absolutely.
But yeah, 100%. I agree with you that like nobody's like from day one, no one was like, hey everyone, like let's all eat better.
Right.
Let's all like meditate.
They're bribing them with donuts instead of health. And that's what concerns me. This is important.
Yeah.
That's a problem for me. Do I believe it exists? Of course I believe it exists. Of course it's there. I see them. You know what I mean? But what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really just don't, from what I have seen of what's in the shots or whatever, I don't know. So I'm going to go with what I do know. And that's worked. Like, I don't know. So I live in a bubble. A lot of people have written me off. It's cool. I don't argue with people. I definitely respect their views. I manage buildings where people are on both sides. And I empathize with both sides. And that's okay too.
Well, yeah, I think that's what's missing, like from just conversations these days. Like everything has to be like black and white now, and you're either vax or you're anti-vax. You either believe COVID's real or you don't believe COVID's real. You're either MAGA or you're not.
Red pill, blue pill. I don't take pills, bro.
Yeah.
How about that?
And I feel like what has gotten so lost in like the last 2 years is just like an ability to sit down with like another person and just be like, okay, like this is where you're coming from. Okay, like I get it. And like that, like just like honest conversing, it's like missing. Like even in my own family, like people get like really riled up one way or the other. Whether it's left or right, and I'm just like, man, like how about we all just like focus on like being happy people?
Sure, do you?
Yeah, and I think if everyone actually did them, like the world would be a better place.
Don't worry about what I'm doing. It's cool. I'll be all right.
Yeah, like I firmly believe like if everyone like took the time to like eat right, like exercise, meditate, like actually like do things that like that all like the political problems in the world would just slowly disappear because people would just stop acting like fucking idiots.
And that brings me back to, well, why would they want to do that to us in the first place?
Yeah.
Somebody has something to gain. And that's where I kind of opt out and go hardcore in the other direction, right? Politely and respectfully and with class. You don't need to bash anybody. But I'm pretty logical at the end of it all. And, divide and conquer. If they're distracted with all these other things, we can shove other things down their throat.
Yeah. So, this podcast is definitely not about crypto, but I am like I
don't know anything about crypto, actually.
I am a huge crypto guy, and I like, I believe that instead of focusing on like politics and like fuck them, fuck you, like we just need to be focused on buying Bitcoin.
Focus on your money, get in the bag. Yeah, place. Like I agree. Whatever makes you happiest, focus on that.
Because I think a lot of the problems are like people don't feel like abundant in their lives, like, and when you're like experience of reality is like there's never enough. It's a struggle, like to put food on everything's a struggle. Yeah. And that guy doing well is taking out of my pocket. I think that's where like the problems stem from. So I'm like, oh yeah, like if everyone could just feel like
people have no idea what somebody's I've been homeless on the streets, come back running the block 3 years later. Seriously, me and my son were homeless in a church. I broke my foot. Like I just told him, believe in me. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get out of this.
I'm getting like all these like little tidbits from you of like we run the block, and I feel like I want to like unpack more. Like
I've had
I don't
a crazy
know
life.
How we do like a deep dive into like specific instances.
I've had a crazy life. I've done a lot of things, that people say you can't. I was a single mom this whole time. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. His father died during COVID, so we had to deal with that as well. Like and how do I look at my son and say, I'm throwing these parties, right? But like, he's proud of me. He's very proud of me. As a matter of fact, my son is probably one of the most incredible human beings ever, and my greatest accomplishment, hands down. If you should interview him. Very diplomatic, quite the opposite of me, actually. He's not interested in partying. He's never done anything like that.
You're just mama to him, not Mama J.
I'm mom, yeah. I'm mama. But he'll always be my baby. I love being a mom. It's in everything that I do. I have 5 younger brothers and sisters growing up. I've always been nurturing. I'm a Virgo. My birthday's on Tuesday. It's just in me to be that way and to care about humanity. So even with my buildings, it wasn't about running the block or anything like that. I didn't even ask for the job, honestly. Shout out to the Shies. Thank you. They offered the job to me, the owners of the buildings, and they believed in me and saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. To be honest, it was a beautiful thing, and it allowed me to actually get in touch with my community for real and actually make a change.
Right.
We had riots during the pandemic and all that. I'm on Spring Street. We had tanks outside of my door. Like, I had to defend buildings. Like, and then I'm the retail manager, so I was in charge of rebuilding that block after they bashed in every single window, and we had an unbelievable amount of vacancies. I have 0 vacancies now, by the way, on my retail side.
Nice.
Yes. So we have rebuilt all the stores. I have new stores in now.
I mean, that's good to hear, because I feel like downtown
nice.
was definitely for a minute like not so bueno. I actually got mugged downtown like right around like when all that was happening, like last June.
It happens a lot. We're working on it. We're really working on it. I write letters to city council about the homeless and finding them housing every week. And it slowly I see it. I do. You know, I feel for people that are just in any position, you know, because I've been there. My mother she's a drug addict. So, you know, I've seen her on the street. I've seen that, you know, that could be anybody's mom. And if you actually take some time to interview some of these homeless individuals, sometimes their child died and they were a lawyer before and they just, you know, got lost because of the pain. Like, you don't know what anybody's going through. And I really have that empathetic soul. Like, I really feel everything. It was really hard for me this is why I'm general leasing manager now, and I'm not so much on the residential side, because I would take everybody's problems and I would really feel it. And which makes me a good manager, but at the same time, I lost so much sleep during, you know, the first part of the pandemic and during the riots.
In terms of like people like paying rent and stuff.
I had to sit with dead bodies.
Oof.
No, not even that. All that aside, there's other problems going on, like with suicide and drug overdose, and when people can't go out and interact with people, they become depressed.
Wait, like that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
With tenants?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm the one who has to open the door. I have the keys. I'll never forget the first time I had to sit with, you know, a young man that I grew to be very close with, and he was an artist as well, DJ like me, and I had to sit with his dead body for hours waiting for a coroner. You know?
Damn.
I had to open the door and sit with paramedics and everything and hug a gentleman because he just lost his only son. That was a separate incident. Another kid OD'd on drugs. Again, he overdosed, but he was at 26 years old, had already won, like, I think an Academy Award for like behind the scenes production and stuff. Amazing wow. Artists in my buildings. If you know anything about Spring Street and downtown,
yeah.
They're incredible. So to see these kids be falling off, you know, not just the underground, I'm watching it everywhere.
Right.
My son's father too, he was a drug addict. Like, they couldn't handle it. These fragile souls, artists, they can't handle it. They need a hug, bro. Like, they need a dance. They need something, you know. They're not trying to debate and do all these things. They just wanted to chill and like be at peace. Mm-hmm. And they're not allowed to do anything. It was already hard for an artist. Nobody, when I told my dad I want to be an artist, like, he's like, you're intelligent. Why don't you be a lawyer? Why don't you be a doctor? I could be all of those things. I could. I went into law for a little while. Like, I went to school. Like, it wasn't for me. Like, I could be an entrepreneur though and do anything I want to do. So somebody's making money in music. Why not me? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like some people are just wired to kind of like hustle, and right. I vibe that from you, you know, yeah. Like.
So no matter what I touch.
Yeah.
But that's what we need to be teaching our children. That's what I taught my son. Like, don't listen to them. I got a broken foot. We're homeless. It's just a temporary thing. I didn't think I'd come back running the entire block, but like, you know, I just wanted a home, but that's what you can do if you really believe in yourself and if you really like put in the work. You know, I really am not a lazy person.
Right.
Like every minute is filled.
Clearly.
No.
No. You don't strike me as like someone who like watches that much like Netflix.
Oh, hell no. No. I smoke weed all day long though. I'm not going to lie. That's probably like my only vice, but I'm like present. It actually just helps me in business, to be honest, because I am a little strong. And I realize that about myself. One thing in business that you want to always do or in life is be self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, and kind of, you know.
Well, yeah, I feel like for like kind of high strung, like hustler type people, like you guys usually need like something to help calm you down.
Yeah.
You know, like I watch a lot of Rogan podcasts and I like
we're
similar. Yeah. He's like, yeah, if I don't have like like my mind is just like going constantly, like I'm kind of crazy and I need to be like doing shit all the time.
Yeah.
It's funny because like that's not me at all. Like it takes a lot to like motivate, like for me to motivate myself to do stuff, but like I totally like I know your type.
Yeah, I'm aware. So yeah, and my nature is actually really sweet and very nurturing, but man, you'd be surprised what people think about me before they meet me. It's really funny. I get bitch a lot, but you know, or other things, but I realized within myself, man, maybe I should tone it down a little. Like I want to be a little bit more approachable to people that I can reach. So it was time and a place for me. Like, by no means should you ever change who the fuck you are. Like at the root of it all, I have my strong principles and all that, but how am I supposed to reach these people that just don't know better? Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm just smoke some weed and calm down and be like, try it this way. Sometimes you can swallow your pride. You know, you don't really need to be like, you know, so harsh or it's their issue. Nah, it's cool. It can be mine. I can fix it. I can squash any problem at any time if I really wanted to.
Right. So, you know, like you're kind of this figure in music. It seems like you probably don't think of yourself as like a DJ or a promoter even then, right? It's just more like I'm just like this like businesswoman in honestly, this space.
A lot of people know me as a DJ, yeah, for sure. But like, respectfully to DJs and all of that, you know, I would love to be more known for my business. Absolutely. And I'm very proud of teaching people how to do the same. I've really taken time to partner with a lot of individuals on the underground and give them the game so they don't mess it up. You know what I mean? Don't get the cops called. Don't put the heat on us. So I've taken quite a few people under my wing and really helped them, you know, partner with me at first and they branch off on their own or whatever. But I like watching people grow and making money too. Like they don't understand. Like as a DJ, that's cool, but you guys can't afford my rate. Like not as much as I'd make it as if I threw my own event.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like, so are most of your parties like profitable? Cause I know a lot of promoters are like, dude, like I lose money on every party, but I do it cause I love it.
No, they're doing something very wrong. If you talk to anybody on the planet that's partnered with me, they made thousands.
Wow.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. So, nah, like there's so much money.
What's
in this
the
game.
secret sauce there? Like
expenses, honestly. Okay. Everybody overextends. My expenses are, but that goes back to your relationships. So there's a reason why I have exclusivity.
You get like good prices, like all around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everything on everything. So I have a structure with, the underground, you never know when you're going to get rolled. So like, I don't have to do like these big production deals. And I make everybody earn their own keep. Like, you know, if you're so popular, then you should take 50% of your ticket sales. If anybody offers me that, I take that over a flat rate any day. You know why? Because the sky's the limit. I can create my own avenue.
Right. Like it's back end. Like in Hollywood, they call that back end.
Yeah, right? So like, you know, the difference is like, if I'm getting that money, that's a difference between, you know, what we do and the pay to play situation. The pay to play situation, they're not getting paid. Promoters are the ones getting paid and only the promoters, right? For your hard work.
Right.
Over here, I'm making my DJs learn how to promote themselves. So I'll sit there and be like, did you even write 5 people? And I'll sit there with them for an hour. Like I'm Vinny, shout out to Vince. I made him fucking get the fuck out of his car, sit shotgun. And I drove while I made him write people. He sold 5 tickets in an hour. And he's like, wait a minute, does that mean that $100 is mine? I was like, yeah. So they don't get the concept that if they just spend an hour a day, just even 1 fucking hour, that they could do better and better and better. And that's my platform. It teaches them confidence. be honest. It teaches them how to go get that money themselves to where that they don't need to rely on anyone else to give them that paycheck. And it's right there.
So is that why, like, have you ever considered throwing like a club event or?
Oh, I've done that. I had a
Okay.
residency at Catch One, like every Thursday.
Okay.
Me and my other partner from EMX, like,
Or like, you know, do the whole thing where you're like flying in a DJ from somewhere.
no,
and-
that's something I'll never do.
Okay.
I'm local only. As a matter of fact, when I first started DJing, I wouldn't even play regular tracks. I would only play originals from my friends.
Okay. Like
When I first started.
What is that like economics or
That was
just
more
like-
principle too,
okay.
like at the same time, plus economic, right? You don't know how anything's going to end up in the underground. And I'm not going to take the L for everybody. It is a business. If we can all make money together, cool. Less amount of expenses, the better. That's my motto. So there's enough talented people in our area that don't even have any limelight. My foundation really is, you know, finding people that are really underdogs that have never been put on. COVID allowed me to grab some people that were kind of neglected and just make them stars, like, boom. And they're lit now. Like, it's cute to see, like, honestly, like, whether their egos got a little big or not, you know, you win some, you lose some, right? But, you know, you never know until you put them on how they're going to react to things. But it's cool to see them shine, like, and watch that, you know, because a lot of people were slept on. And there's always somebody new. So, like, my platform can never get old because everybody needs a shot,
Right.
always.
No, I love that like emphasis on local talent because like
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, like when I talk to folks who are like in the club scene here, like it's all like I want to be like the big like national star, or I want to make the big money because I'm bringing in the national star.
They don't understand how to make money then.
Yeah, like
They're losing money, right? Didn't you just say that?
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause they don't get it. There's better ways. Same thing with big business, right? Like, they think it's cool to treat their employees bad and penny pinch and do things like that. Studies show that, nah, you make more money in the long run if you actually take care of a good group of core people, treat them
Right.
right. Like, the time that it takes to train new people, sick days, or like the turnover rate, all that costs money.
It's crazy too, because like, you know, I'm listening to like the way you do business, and I'm hearing about like, you know, and I'm hearing like a lot of integrity
Yes.
and like focus on, you know, taking care of people and, you know, local, and like, but when you think about rave generally, you think that it's more sketch than,
Yeah.
you know, like what's going on in the club scene. Like, I mean, not that anyone thinks that like,
You're accurate, though.
yeah, not that anyone thinks that promoters at like the big club are like, you know, on the up and up. Like, you know, I think, you know, people think they're pretty sketchy too.
But they
then
have
you
more
think
rules,
but then you think of rave, and that's like, oh, that's where it gets really sketchy.
Yeah, because they have more rules in the regular club scene. In the underground, it's the Wild West, like, for real. It's not something you want to play with, to be honest. You can get hurt. And a
Like-
lot of the club owners or venue owners, they're on drugs. You know what I mean? They're crazy. Everybody's crazy. Everybody's crazy. But and I love it. You know, it's fun to watch. But like, you know, when it came to business, it wasn't fun for me, man. So like, I would always, you know, deal with it, you know what I mean? Because that's the standard, and everybody was kind of wild, and until I didn't have to, right? Until I got the relationships enough to where I'm taking over and I can redefine the standard. And that's kind of what I've done, honestly, at least with my groups. It's not like that, you know, but it is, you know, with others. And the way I grew up too was wild. I've been in all kinds of circumstances, like all kinds of violent circumstances. I don't know what I was thinking. Little girl just hanging out in the underground. I wasn't just EDM underground too. I was hip hop
drop us
underground
a story,
too. like-
Mama J.
Oh man, it's hard because I can't say things without putting people on blast. They'll know exactly who I'm talking
No
about.
names,
Like,
no names basis.
I've had gangsters throw shit at me. I've had guns held to my head.
Holy shit.
I've had to break up fights. I've had, I don't know, all kinds
Okay, so
of,
there is like there is sketch shit happening at rave.
Oh
it's just
God,
that
I've seen people turn
like a
blue
tight
on the
ship.
dance floor. I learned so much about drugs. Like I don't know. I didn't know what ketamine was. Like I'm just watching this kid just pause. Like, what's wrong with you? Like I'm in a K-hole. All right then, cool. Just let him be. All right. I don't know, man. So I'm learning all these things, and it's just like nobody's a doctor here. Like, nah, you're just gonna die or not. You know. So like this is what freaked me out too. I was like, okay, so if we're preaching all this stuff about community and how we care about each other and plur, we got to be different than the rest of the underground. That's just, it didn't make sense to me. And I'm not a hypocrite. So like, I mean, I kicked it in the underground hip hop scenes too. Like I kicked it in all the scenes, you know, they're all wild, you know, but we're the ones with the fucking message that says we're not this way. We care about each other. So why are you selling him drugs then?
Well, because half of the reason why people go to raves is due to drugs. But.
Exactly. But like at the same time, and that's cool. Like if somebody's, same reason why I would sell them a beer. If they're cool, you know what I mean? But if they're not and they're struggling and all that, like we should come in as a community, right? And for me, like me and my friends, like my best friend Boss Kitty, she's sober now too. She throws her own events now too. My best friend Silverback, he throws Cosmic Pilot with me now too, and he's sober because we set a standard. Like if anybody else needs help, we're gonna come and we're gonna help them. And if they want to get sober and do those things, I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of, you know, I don't know, blaming each other or like just sadness across the board. Somebody needs to be a leader. If you're using two, it's very hard for them to see the light. And no judgment either, like on anybody who uses or anything like that, or, you know, do you. The only reason like me and my teams went this way is so that the other people could have an outlet. And there just really isn't, you know what I mean? What if you wanted to get sober, but all your friends are on drugs? You can't even talk to them, or they can't even tell you how to do it. It's not even their fault. You know what I mean? They're stuck themselves.
So is that like a big part of your platform? Like
that's like number one. Yeah.
Okay. But like, how does that message get across? Is that just you talking to people, or
Yes.
like, is that advertised?
They know it.
Okay.
Like by now, a lot of people know it when they come to my parties. If you come to my party, you will not feel or see the same things that you would see in the underground party. You won't see people falling down, going into K-holes. Period. You'll never see that. You'll see people, you know, having fun. They might look like they're, you know, on something or not, but you won't see it out in the open like that. You know,
no judge on the K-hole. I may have been in a K-hole.
I've seen plenty of people like, and I laughed, like, you know, my homie Silverback, when we first met, that's how I figured it out. But, you know, and to each his own, bro. Like, it's just not at my party.
That's not your.
There's plenty of places to do that.
Wait, so the party I saw you play out last week, was that one of yours? Or?
That wasn't mine. That was actually Fallen Angel Techno.
Okay, so that's Sarah and then Techno Fam.
Techno Fam. Okay. Shout out to Omar.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my little techno babies.
Okay, so like you guys are like homies, but we're not. Homies, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, people laugh at me too. They're like, Mama J, stop. Like, you're going to scare the people. Like, it's true. I would like scare people at my own events. Like.
Well, even like last week's party, you know, like I went with a friend and we were like remarking to each other, like, hey, this is probably like the least sketch underground rave like we'd ever been to. Like it was like a clean, like really nice venue. Like everyone looked rested and like happy.
It's a vibe.
Cause I've been to some shit. I've been to some like raves where I'm like, dude, it's not a good look. I feel it. Yeah, like
those can be kind of fun too, though. Like,
yeah, they can be fun, but like
I'm not saying I don't attend like the crazy people and crazy raves. No judgment. I've laughed and partied with a lot of people. Like I just had to go this way because other people were following me, you know.
But yeah, just you know, I'm just saying like in terms of what you've been talking about, it is a different vibe, you know, and like for someone who has been around rave for like 20 plus years, like I was like, oh yeah, it's like a nice like really like good vibe.
Well, let me ask you though, did you have any less fun?
No, not at all.
Right. Like, so that's my point. Like,
no, I mean, in fact, it's more fun. Like it's like, oh, like I was expecting to like, you know, like for it to be like, you know, kind of grimy sketch and like people to like look just like out of their mind, fucked up, in like a dirty warehouse. It was like complete like opposite. I was like, oh, it's like nice, clean venue and sounds really good. Like everyone's like, you know, like, yeah, it was great. I mean, and that's not to say, I don't think that's not to say like people there were all sober. I don't think that was the case at all.
No, they just held their composure.
But yeah, they're like composed, and like that's like kind of the vibe that you guys are.
It's it's simple. Yeah. I don't care what you do, just don't let me notice it. Like drunk people could do the same thing. This isn't just about drugs.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with like, I don't know, even food. Like if somebody's, you know, overeating or like getting sick or, you know, not.
Well, yeah, like everything
things.
in moderation, right?
That's
like,
right.
That's just like, that's rules for life, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the first raves I've ever been to that had like I want to say there was like a candle in the bathroom. Where I was like, you don't see that. You don't see that at raves.
They had a bathroom. One time I threw an underground party and we had no bathrooms. And I was like, desert rules, guys. Like, and everybody just went outside. Like, nobody left either. It was like a sold out show too. Like, everybody just peed outside. Our bathroom broke. Like, and I was like, oh.
At the desert rave?
No, so I told them desert, like, you pretend like we're at the desert. This wasn't at the desert. This was at a venue in downtown. This was another warehouse underground rave, but our bathroom broke. Like, so I told them all to pretend like we're at the desert. Just go outside. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, or you can go home. Like, I don't know. So, bathrooms are such a problem, like, at warehouses.
Oh yeah, like, well, the new thing now is like they just dump in porta potties.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing too. Like, I have like 3 porta potties typically.
Wait, so you're on Spring. Did you ever throw parties at the Orion? Do you remember that?
Oh my God. Like, no, I haven't.
You know that building that like with like it used to have like the star on it?
Yeah. I haven't. We do have Exchange LA in one of our buildings. It's next door to me. I live in the Reserve. Like the Reserve is there.
Oh, Exchange is one of your buildings?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Reserve is kind of funny because, like, it's weird. Like, I walk outside on the weekends, there's like a red carpet. Like, Drake performed there like a few months ago, and Rihanna's like Fenty clothing line is there.
Oh,
I've still never been to the Reserve though. I live there, but like,
yeah, I haven't. What I haven't heard of that actually.
Club.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a club, and the Majestic is on top, like, and that's just like a big ballroom. Like Justin Bieber's manager got married there, but like that's where I live, and it's just surreal because my principals are just so. Honestly, I like the grimy warehouses. I don't mind it. Like,
no, I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. Like,
it's nice to have working bathrooms though. If we can combine the two into like, and that's kind of what we're doing. The grimy warehouse is still out there. Like, don't worry, we still support that. But there's an option. I actually have pretty nice bathrooms at my new venue that I have now. But indoor, outdoor. We also have porta potties. But if we can do it nice, why not? Like, cool.
Yeah, I haven't been above being out of my mind in the grimy warehouse. Just saying, like, candlelit restroom, like pretty cool too.
Right. Yeah. Both, just depends on the vibe. Like, honestly, it's about the people. It's about who you have there. And you can take me anywhere and I'll be good. Like, as long as the people are cool.
Right on. Well, we are coming up on time here, but just want to thank you again for, I'm going to have you come back and actually like share some like specifics. Cause I feel like you've given us all like a taste of like the crazy life that you've had and like everything you're doing. But I feel like the people are going to want to hear like more. Give the people what they want. So we'll have you back another time, and you can elaborate further and regale us with your stories.
Sure.
But so is there anything you want to plug like while you're here? Like definitely follow Mama J on Instagram.
Yeah, at Mama J Media on Instagram. If you follow me there, you'll be able to get the invite to some of my events. I am going to be dropping a record. I have a record release party on this coming Friday, the 10th. It'll be my first single, really. I'll be singing on it. It's already been remixed by a bunch of amazing DJs.
Sick.
I'm super humbled and just extremely grateful. So yeah, if you want to pick that up too when we release that, that'd be great.
Sweet. Follow Mama J and remember to like and subscribe to this channel. All right, folks. See you next week.